When it comes to what your family eats and drinks, you know your choices matter. You're the expert because you know what fits your life. And getting it right starts with good information. That's why America's beverage companies are sharing more information about our ingredients at goodtoknowfacts.org. No spin, no judgments, just the facts straight from the experts for more than 140 beverage ingredients. Visit goodtoknowfacts.org.
Hi, my name is Peter Jensen. I woke up in a prison at the age of 46. Now, I wasn't in there for drugs and alcohol, but I was in there because of drugs and alcohol, right?
Right.
I was in there for tax evasion. And why the fuck wouldn't you pay your taxes if you're making that much money? Because you're drunk at the wheel. And so I'm going to give some people a tip right now. Like, if you ever get jammed up on a federal level, the first thing you want to do, the first fucking thing you want to do is go, I have a drinking problem, I have a drug problem. Why? Is that because that makes you eligible for the residential drug and alcohol program, the RDAP program, which knocks 18 months off your sentence. If you don't do it right at the beginning and you do it at sentencing, when the judge goes, I sentence you to 5 years, and you go, holy shit, they don't give it to you. If you
Listeners, you can learn a lot of things on the show if you pay attention.
Yes, this is true.
Shawn French, what up? This one luck, I let the pain inspire me. I put my all in everything I'm doing. Up until it's done, I'm me for the entirety. I put in overtime, I be working. Just know I'ma go for mine, cause I earned it. They watching, I know it's time. I confirmed it. A whole society determined.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Determined Society. I am your host, Shawn French. If it's your first time watching it or listening, hit subscribe. Let me know what you like about it. Hit the review button and let's roll. Today, I have a special guest for you guys. His name's Peter Jensen. He's a serial entrepreneur. But more than anything, I think what's most impressive about him is his discipline. And it's not something that he has told me. It's stuff that people in our mutual circle has told me about his level of discipline and what makes him so special. So welcome to the show, man.
Hey, Shawn, thanks for having me, man. Good to be here.
Yeah, dude. So, walk me through your morning, man. I was walking out of the gym and you were heading into the underground.
Well, I let you sleep in. I texted you around. I was at 5:30. I was up at 4:30.
I was up at 4.
Yeah.
I was leaving the job. I was done.
So I'm not yet into the Mark Wahlberg Club at 3:30 a.m.
No.
But you talk about discipline. You kind of touched on it. That I was taught early on that you got to, no matter what, even if you went out and partied your ass off the night before, you got to get up in the morning and get things done. And if you can get everything done before 8 a.m., set the tone for the day, you're good to go. So today was another typical morning in my life. Wake up at like 4:45 and at the underground facility, our indoor pickleball facility, by 5:30. Do a little quick workout, get warmed up. The guys start coming in that are playing every day at 6:15, and we're on the courts from 6:30 to 9:30, and then take on the rest of the day.
Dude, so it's funny. Couple things. My baseball coaches used to say to us, if you're going to dance all night, you better be able to pay that fucking band in the morning.
Yeah.
Right. So no matter what, right. And see, back then, like, we had no choices because if you didn't show up, they're sending your ass home. So I can't even equate the amount of discipline I had back then to now, because it's so different. Then I was a robot. Now as an entrepreneur, as a husband and a father, it's like, I have to get up and do something.
Yeah.
Because I don't want my kids to beat me awake, you know, and that to me is something that, I try to do. I fail at it a lot. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I never lie on the show, but I'm back on my grind. I do not like the 3:30 a.m. No, I don't like it. And PJ, the only reason I do it is because, after recording and after my other business that I work, and then with the kids and the family, I don't want to take time out of family time at night. So I work out in the morning, but it does help. Well,
I was taught if you're going to soar with the eagles at night, you got to rise with the turkeys in the morning, right? So same type of deal you were saying.
Cool, yeah.
I think my you're talking about the kids, and my philosophy changed when I became a dad. That I would never want to be asleep when my kids are awake, and then just adding to the discipline. And discipline's a crazy thing, right? Everyone thinks that motivation is the thing, but motivation runs out. Like, you got to be. I'm motivated to lose weight. I'm motivated to make money. I'm motivated to be a better husband, a better partner. I'm motivated to, but you have to have the disciplines to be able to reach those goals. Like, the motivation starts the ball rolling down the hill, but the disciplines to stick to that, like the disciplines of eating properly, training when you're supposed to train, getting a good night's sleep, being there for your partner, being there for your children, being there, in all phases of your life. That's discipline, because you have to have discipline because, life, you want to go down that straight, narrow path, but life pulls you to the right. Like your job pulls you here, maybe a loss pulls you here, your wife, your husband, whatever pulls you off track of that the shortest point is what, A to B, right? And you have to be disciplined to that. So yeah, it's good to hear that, like, my peers, friends and family as well, always say the same thing, that he's disciplined, and it's a trait that I've actually grown to really appreciate about myself, and understand how important it is to stick to the disciplines that I need to stay disciplined to, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It's a 1% habit, man. And it's like, I want to go back to motivation versus discipline or determination, right? For the sake of the show. Like, I don't even think motivation is there kind of like, okay, if I lose this much weight, I'm going to look like this naked, or I'm going to sleep better because I'm going to snore less, or, right? It's good to think of those things, but motivation isn't the thing that's going to get you going. Motivation comes after you start exercising that discipline and that process, living in your standard. And then, a couple weeks down the road, you see a change in maybe physical appearance. Maybe you see a change in your sales or in your bottom line for your business. And then that gives you even more, I guess you would say, gasoline to keep going, to stick to your discipline. I just think people have it so fucked up, PJ. Yeah. It's like I'm just struggling with my motivation. I need to watch this YouTube video before I go to work. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Look at your kids before you walk out the damn door.
Some of us don't, I was thinking about some of the things we were going to talk about today, and I never have an agenda, because I just go by what
me neither,
what's
man.
asked or what I feel. But like the part of, discipline and motivation, and really it's fucking what we need as humanitarian, as men, I'll just say men in general, because I obviously relate to, I'm a man, right? Mm-hmm. Men. Sure. We need hope. Like, hope is such a unbelievable, vital part of what we do. I need hope that I can lose weight. I need hope that I can be a better father. I need hope that my kids are going to have a better life. I need hope that the world's going to, be a better place. I need hope that, if I'm sick, I can get better. I need hope that if I'm broke, I can get rich. Right? Hope is like, and like, I don't argue with anyone about what their belief is in God. I mean, I'm a God-fearing man. I'm a Christian, diehard, all the way through and through. So I know my hope is in my faith, but you take hope away, man, you've got nothing. What's there to live for?
I agree.
And so, if you have hope, you can do anything. A man with hope is that's who I want on my team. Yeah, I want someone that has hope, because hope opens doors to dreams, and dreams open doors to what? Motivation. Mm-hmm. Motivation opens the door to discipline, because you can be motivated to do something, but if you don't have the discipline, the game plan to execute, then guess what? You don't have a chance. You have to have a plan to execute. Right. So if you want to get rich, you've got to, I always talk a lot and like emulate someone who's rich and be just like them, right? And I did that for years, and then said, all right, I was able to achieve the success that person did, but I didn't like who that person was. That's a whole nother topic about the inner, being happy within, and that's something I've learned through many years of experience of having a shit ton of money to not having money, having a shit ton of money to not having money. Happy can't buy you happiness. I mean, it makes life a lot more easier. Like Dana White was saying the other day, like, it's a tool for happiness.
Sure.
But I've been miserable when I was loaded. And I've been happy when I was broke. But then I found that when you can have both and be happy and have money, yeah, it's awesome. But it's not the only thing. Like, you've got to be happy with him before. Like, I always say, man, if you don't like the guy in the mirror, guess what? You're fucked.
Yeah.
Well, your relationships are fucked. Everything's fucked. Your business, because you're going to self-destruct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't do it.
It's interesting because I don't think enough that we really look internal. You said a couple different things there, man. Like, you've been broke and happy and loaded and miserable. And the biggest point I want to make to the audience listening or watching is, we're always in this battle with ourselves. Mm-hmm. Like, do we like what we see? And only we know ourselves fully. My wife doesn't know me fully. I'm the only one that's sitting with my thoughts and my opinions about me every day. And what I find is, when I lay off the gas and I don't do the things that are necessary to help me mentally and physically, then my self-worth goes down the toilet. When that self-worth goes down the toilet, I'm scared to make that next business phone call. I'm scared to reach out to the next podcast guest. My speech pattern is off when I'm having conversations like this because I'm second guessing because I know I'm not the dude right now. In your journey, how long did it take you to figure that out? And how did you figure that out?
Wow.
It's a loaded question, but I think, but everybody that's going to listen to this show, right, is be like, this dude has had a ton of money more than once, and he's lost it and he's come back. And there's one root cause of the gain and the fall. It's within.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my journey is a documented one, in that, I've been to prison on federal tax evasion. I wrote a book. I've been to rehab for alcohol addiction. One and done 6 years ago. That I haven't had a drink in 6 years, and that's been a huge part. Thank you. That's been a huge part.
Awesome.
Of my success in life, in the mirror. Certainly the disciplines. Just talking to someone today, we were playing pickleball. A guy came in and said, how old are you? I said, I'm 57. He's like, geez, you're in like unbelievable shape. I said, yeah, thank you. He goes, what do you do? And I said, one of the things I said, stopped drinking 6 years ago. So, it's not just the alcohol, it's the poor decisions that came with alcohol, which those affected me with those decisions about your self-esteem and self-worth, right? If you're not happy with yourself, then in my case, I medicated.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, when I was chasing money and was making, I had 3 jets at the time. I had the jet boat, the 10,000 square foot house in the water. I had every toy. I had a full-time limousine sitting outside my house. I mean, I was in that world, it was a legend. We had the biggest, I had 26 TVs in my house, 3 bars, volcano pools in here in Fort Myers. And I thought I was happy, but I was miserable. And then my best, I heard Mike Tyson say that the best 3 years of his life was when he was in prison. And people were like, how the hell can he say that, man? The guy he was worth $300 million. Same thing with me. When I was in a federal prison camp in Miami, I was there for a year and 4 days. It was the best year and 4 days of my entire life.
Why is that though?
Great question, because, besides being away from the family, that was awful, but there was no stress. There was no need. I only had what I could have, a 3x3 locker. I was told when told when to eat, when to go to not really when to go to the bathroom, but I didn't have any stress. I wasn't chasing or trying to be the Joneses. I was just dealing with what I had. I got to read every day. I got in touch with God. I worked on myself. I went in at 26% body fat, came out at 9. I wrote a book. I started 2 companies in there. I got my shit together. And when I walked out, got out a year and 4 days, and then I was in a halfway house for 3 months, and then home confinement for 3 months. I was on a different level. I didn't have any alcohol in me at all. I didn't eat anything except tuna fish and water for the year and 4 days in prison, because the mess hall was a mess. They'd serve you expired food and milk, and so I just bought out of the commissary. I kept in my locker and I ate. So when I came out, I was almost like a newborn. That when I got my blood work done, I didn't have a toxin in my body. So I didn't have a toxin in my thought. I didn't have a toxin in my soul. I didn't have anything. It was just me and the good, the big guy upstairs. And so I remember getting my blood work done, because I wanted to make sure I didn't catch anything in there. Not that you're doing anything, but just being around.
Yeah,
even though it's a very clean place, because we live there, we clean. But the doctor came in and said, it's one of those places where I get the blood work done right on campus. And hey, can we come in? Can I bring a couple of my colleagues in? We want to talk to you about your blood work. And I was like, what the fuck?
Like,
I was scared. Like, geez, I'm dying. 1 person, 2, 5, 6, 7 people came into this small room, and they're like, we have to know what you've been eating. I'm like, why? Because your triglycerides are like newborn baby. Like, there's not a toxin in your body. And I was like, I didn't know. I thought I'd be like dying like mercury poisoning.
Yeah,
right,
of course, something like that, right?
Yeah, and so you really realize like what you put in your body affects the way you think, the way you look, the way everything. I mean, so think about that. So that's where I really understood about, you're driving a Lamborghini, you're gonna put shitty gas in it? No, like, so what you put in your body is how it's gonna affect your body. Not just how you look, Shawn. It's about how you think, how you smell, how you look. Yeah, it just affects everything. So, I learned the hard way about what you're saying. But when everything's taken away from you and you realize that stress is manufactured. What does that mean? Stress is manufactured. Well, if I can't control anything, I can't stress about it. So I couldn't stress about money. I couldn't stress about parenting. I couldn't stress about anything. I didn't have control. And so there's two things in life, or especially when you give yourself up to God physically, and then which I had to do when I got locked up, right?
Right.
And then spiritually. So physically, I was unable to do anything. So I just said, "Hey, man, I'm all in. I surrender."
Right.
And then you can do it spiritually too. And I had some amazing, moments with God in there, being lifted off the ground one night, and the things that I asked for and prayed for, and it's a powerful thing, prayer. That when you do pray and you ask God for things, that you got to remember that whatever you pray for, He's going to give you. It might not be ASAP. It might not be in a week. It might not be in the form that you're asking for it in, but it'll come. He's never late, but he has a sense of humor, I say. He's just got a sense of humor. He'll let it go down to the wire.
He sure does, man.
But he's never going to be late. He's never wrong, and he's never going to be late. So, those are things. And then obviously, again, another downfall where my partying, man, I loved to drink. I was the life of the party. I grew up in West Hampton Beach, New York, in the Hamptons. Went to college, went on to play, professional football. Played in Europe. Got to look with the Jets and Giants. So I was my own little celebrity in my own little world, and just kept partying, and then finally it caught up with me as I got older. I mean, the opening line in my book is, "Hi, my name is Peter Jensen. I woke up in a prison at the age of 46." Now, I wasn't in there for drugs and alcohol, but I was in there because of drugs and alcohol, right?
Right.
I was in there for tax evasion.
Right.
But I was making so much money, I didn't pay my taxes in 2007. Why the fuck wouldn't you pay your taxes if you're making that much money? Because you're drunk at the wheel.
Right.
You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And so those were these, eye-opening, there's easier ways to do it. So, for all your listeners, there's easier way to do it. You don't need to go to prison. You don't need to go to rehab. But these are things that I've gotten knocked down on my ass, but I've gotten up every single time.
But I think that's what's so important. That's why I'm loving this conversation, having you on the show. Is like, I want the listeners and just people to understand that it doesn't fucking matter what's happened to you in the past.
Correct.
You could have been in prison. It doesn't matter, right? The proof is, if you get right with yourself, believe in a higher power, whatever that is to you. For me, it's Christ as well. Yep. I may not talk like it sometimes, but that's my dude. But same. It's you have time. You can get on the right track, but you have to take responsibility for it.
Oh man,
it's a massive thing. And one of the interesting things that I want to ask you, because I've never asked anybody this that's been to prison, and it's something that when I watch a show, right, whether it's a documentary or whether it's just a NCIS show, that moment, like, to where I go, man, if I was that defendant and I just learned that I was going to prison, I would literally defecate myself right there, because then I think of, like, how am I going to survive?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a very nice person. I probably would get destroyed in prison. And then the other thing is like the family, the kids. Yeah. Like, so how did you work through that?
Well, there's different levels, right? Some people never have the opportunity to think or talk like we're going to talk about, because they get arrested right on the spot, cuffed, and they never come out. So there's no planning, there's no prep, there's nothing. So my situation was different. As you receive a letter from the grand jury, you get indicted, and then you go through this process where for a year and a half they have you in and out, and it's a horrible process, because now you've gone from controlling your life to living a life of speculation. Like, when am I going to go away? They're going to tune you up, right? These are kind of inside words that they're going to tune you up. You just don't know when, so you can't really plan anything. You can't really try to get into new businesses and new relationships, because you're going away soon, and you don't know where you're going. So whenever most people get jammed up, if it's like 3 or 4 different counts, they count up, and so they'll count up the years, and they'll go, well, this guy's going, it's 38 years, right? But no one goes away for 30 years, because they combine all the counts and you only charge you on one, and that's usually 1 to 5 years, and then you cut a deal, and then and these are all things that you'll learn. But for the person that doesn't know, and what you were saying, my situation was slow and painful.
Damn.
But I was able to learn about it. And so I'm going to give some people a tip right now. Like, if you ever get jammed up on the federal level, the first thing you want to do, the first fucking thing you want to do is go, I have a drinking problem, I have a drug problem. Why? is that because that makes you eligible for the residential drug and alcohol program, the RDAP program, which knocks 18 months off your sentence. If you don't do it right at the beginning and you do it at sentencing, when the judge goes, I sentence you to 5 years, and you go, holy shit, they don't give it to you. So the prison system is completely screwed up. But if you
listeners, you can learn a lot of things on this show if you pay attention.
Yes, this is true. And I'm not even saying I'm being dead serious.
Right.
It's a strategy. So I was able to learn the strategies, and if you Google me, I was sentenced to 31 months, but I was eligible for the RDAP, which knocked off 18 months. And I got out in a year and 4 days. That's a whole other story. There's kids in there or that people in there they get their GEDs and they don't get any time off. But if you go in there and say you have a drug problem, you work on it in there, you get out early.
It's wild, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy. So the learning that process was, I became a sponge, just like, and then again, the discipline. I became a sponge on the system. How it operates, how it works. I mean, I knew more than my attorneys at the end of it. There's no question. And I counsel, people friends of mine that have gotten jammed up, that have done time, that have come to me and explained to them what it was going to be like, what's the language, how to survive. I've talked to their family and friends. And I will tell you this, it's easier for you in this scenario, if you went to prison or if I went to prison, than it is for your family. Because we're inside. We don't have to do shit. We get to work out every day, depending on the situation. If you go to a camp, like I went to a federal prison camp, which is white collar, first time nonviolent offenders. That's a camp. Then there's the low, medium, the high, and the penitentiary. And the higher you go, the more controlled movements, sharpshooters, barbed wire fences. So that's a whole different thing. So your kids and your family, because now daddy's not there, and if daddy was not only the provider income wise, and on the emotional side, they're without. So they have way harder than you do. Everyone thinks that you're going to have the tough time. No way. It's on
How
them.
old were your kids when you went in?
Olivia was 92. She had to be 10, 11, 12, maybe 12 or 13.
Shit.
Yeah, and she was, but it was just the most amazing things happened. My relationship with her and Dylan was 20, 21, 19 and 20. But he handled it different than she did. He was moving on. He moved out, and Olivia was still living with her mom. But she, the relationship I had with her because of the situation was because I only had 300 minutes on my phone a month, not on my cell phone, on the pay phone. And so you had to allocate your minutes. So every day I would get her up for school, and then we talk at night. And so I have nothing new to report because I'm doing the same thing every day. And I would just listen, and the relationship would grow. And then she'd come to visit on Sundays. And there are a lot of great things that happen as a result of, and that was really my first insight to sobriety, being sober, because I was, for those 18 months, I didn't have any alcohol.
So you were able to be present.
I was present's a word that I have a tough time with that. Because
Talk to me about that.
The present thing is like when someone says, be present. And I'm always like, now I'm like, fuck that. Like,
I'm the same way. I just think, I don't understand it.
Well, okay. I've been at, and anyone will tell you, I was at all my kids' soccer games, football games, practices, only father there. Was I on the phone working deals and doing the stuff? Yeah, but I was there. Right. So the present thing for me is like, okay, like I'm present with you. I'm here breathing. I'm talking. It's something that, people are so fucking like locked up in like trying to be better and apply this and do that they're not even living. Like they're just like, they're so locked down on, I'm gonna be this person. I'm gonna act like this. I'm gonna, I want this in a relationship, that they don't even take advantage of the relationship that they're in and the great things that are going on in that relationship, because they're trying to fill a void from something else, and going, man, you know what? Hey, you got a husband that's going like this, man. I love you, honey. Or you got a wife that's going, baby, I love you. I respect you. And we're looking
way beyond that,
beyond or short of, or it's just that word, just be present. Like, yeah, I get it, because it does have an application that if you can apply it to an application. When my particular instance would be, yeah, you were present, but you were drunk. All right, yeah, okay, duly noted.
Yeah,
but Don't use it as, that's not like you can't use it as a blanket. It's not like, every day. Like, my kids will tell you, like, it wasn't like that. So, but be present thing drives me a little bit crazy.
It's funny because I go back and forth with it, right? It's like, there's times where, if my wife calls me and she's driving home, I'm still kind of working a little bit, but I'm not going to not pick up my wife's call.
Correct.
It's one of my rules, man.
That's a good rule.
I just, like yesterday, she goes, I can hear you texting. I'm like, I'm sorry, baby. I'm texting from the computer. I'm working. She goes, well, you're texting. I go, I can use that medium for work, right? I'm working, but I don't want to miss her call. So I wasn't present. So like when my wife says like, hey, be present, it just means like for her, it's like, can you just honor that 5-10 minutes? But dude, it is fucking hard.
Yeah, it's hard. And I'll tell you this though. And one of the other things that, again, back from my experiences though, the kids and the wife don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear, I made the money, I did this, I did that. If you weren't there, then that's on us as men.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about, and that's a big problem with what's happening in the world right now. Men are not men anymore.
Yeah.
Men are a bunch of pussies and we're raising pussies.
Here we go. Keep going. Because this is a big topic.
This is like, listen, if you're not taking care of shit at your house with your kids, then you expect the teachers to do it?
Yeah.
Underpaid?
Yeah. They
got to listen to your snobby ass kid giving them shit and you're not taking care of it at your house? No. That's wrong. So yeah, that's, we've lost our moral compass is gone, man. Like I was raised where I was in my house. It was, if my father, my mother, they'd beat the shit out of me, and my principal would beat the shit out of me. Not that in today's day and age, it's like, it's so frowned upon, but maybe it's, I can deal with the principal's not allowed to get physical with you. Cause I don't think I want anyone getting physical with my kid. But now we're like, morally or publicly shamed if we yell at our kids or we discipline our kid. Hey, man, that's why we've gotten so far away from the basics of parenting, the basics of society, the basics of what. It's just so fuck. I mean, I can get into this. I can just get into this transgender shit. I'm gonna let my fucking daughter play against some guy. It's just. I mean, first of all, who in their right mind would want to go to, you want to be a girl? If you're a guy, you want to be a girl? That's cool. But why do you want to compete against girls if you're a guy? Because you think you're a girl now? You're still a guy.
We'll do it. PJ, you're the first person that's ever been able to get me here on this show. Well, it's not ever talked about. But I'm going to speak my truth.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. That should never happen.
Ever.
That should never fucking happen. Boys play boy sports. Girls play girl sports.
And there's nothing sexist about
nothing.
That. It's
nothing. Like, I think it's an unfair advantage for a dude to transition and go perform
1,000%.
in a female sport. Testosterone levels are still high.
You can do testosterone levels. You can do body makeup, muscle structure. You can do whatever it is. It's just not right. It's not even fair competition. No. It's not even. It's like not even. It's not even a conversation in my.
Do you know what I heard? You're going to get a kick out of this. I heard from a good source, a buddy of mine, he has some family up in Minnesota, and they have litter boxes in the halls at school because certain kids identify themselves as cats and they're pissing in the litter boxes in the hall. I was like, dude, you're fucking lying. He's like, I swear to God. Yeah. They're coming back. They're moving.
But Shawn,
that blew me away.
The problem is that we let it happen. We let it go.
But when did it start, though? Like, to your point, when do you think it started? The very initial onset
of transgender of going into female.
Lack of let's start with lack of accountability, right? And
I don't know. I couldn't put it. Can you help me out?
I don't know, dude. I think it really kind of started. I remember coaching baseball, right? I'm a baseball guy. And right around 2009 or 10, it started being like, you can't curse on the baseball field. You can't do this as a coach. Listen, I don't believe in motherfucking kids up and down. I don't. But if I'm coaching and I'm passionate and I drop an F-bomb, so be it. That's it. I got plenty of F-bombs dropped off at me when I was a kid. And it was, yes, sir. Yes. So don't do it like that. Do it like this. Yes, sir. Thank you. Give me another one. And so for me, I had a good friend be just run out of a program he was the head coach of. Anybody watching the show that knows me knows who exactly the fuck I'm talking about. He was ran out of a program, and all he was trying to do was build character in these young men. And it was a witch hunt. It got down to the point where I was getting called in to athletic departments like, hey, do you dip tobacco? I'm like, do I put a baseball uniform on? Right. Yes. Well, you're not supposed to. I go, okay. Well, you see this puddle right here? That's from you. This dip spit puddle, that's from you on home run derby day. So for all you motherfuckers listening that are confused about what I'm talking about, you guys can go back to that day because you're watching. And I know some of you guys are the ones that put my buddy under the bus here. I go, do you have a picture of me spitting, creating that puddle? Or are you just trying to jam me up? That to me is when it all started, because it was about this rich kid. You either cut the rich kid or you play the rich kid, but you can't do neither.
Yeah.
You got to do one of them. And that's to me when it started.
Yeah, I hear you saying. I think I can remember now. You kind of just jarred my memory about giving out an award to all the kids.
Fuck.
As opposed to first, second, and third.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a modern day scenario, playing pickleball, which is the best sport on the planet right now. And we're playing this guy we're playing against, and he said something like I had something shot. I said, "Oh yeah, I'm pretty emotional on the court." And he's like, "Oh, I'm not even keeping score." I'm like, "What do you mean you're not keeping score?
What the fuck are you here for?"
Like, what do you mean not keeping score?
Trying to be the best at exercising?
Yeah, like what game do you play that you don't keep score to win? I'm just here to have fun. I know what it was. Trust me. Anyone that plays against me in anything knows you're going to get one. You're going to get fucking the best competition, win, lose or draw.
Sure.
You know, I'm giving you everything I have, and that's just the bottom line. So he was like, well, I'm not really trying. I'm like, well, why the fuck are you out here? First of all, why?
Where else is that showing up in your life, dude?
Yeah,
for everybody listening,
trust me.
So for everybody listening, this is a good point. You guys think we're on a tangent. We're actually fucking getting somewhere. It's like, where else is that showing up in your life, bro? Or ma'am, like if you're not trying here, what you think you can just go turn it on somewhere else?
Exactly. That's a great point. Yeah. I mean, that's a show someone. You can tell someone, like I was also taught when you're playing golf with somebody, if they roll it, they pick up and they pick an 8-foot putt. Oh, it's a gimme, or that's their character.
Yeah,
they're gonna cheat.
You're cheating,
right? You're cheating, and so when you're cheating in a scenario like that, you're probably cheating on your kids. You're cheating on your wife, cheating on yourself, and it opens that door for mediocrity and going back to what we talked about earlier about not liking that person in the mirror. How can you look in the mirror and know that you're a liar? Dude. Know that you're a cheater. Know that you're a scumbag.
Because people justify it.
How about this? The biggest predictor of the future, whether it's historical, economically, or in a relationship that you're in, right? Or how you act, the biggest predictor of the future is what? Your past. Or the past, right? The past in history. Because life's going to keep repeating itself. So what do I mean by that? If you're a scumbag and you haven't changed, and you cheat on your wife, and you cheat on your kids, you cheat on your job, you're going to do that in the future. However, if you've done the work and you've changed, done the work, unraveled some shit, figured out why you acted like that, make some decisions, make some moves to not do that again, then guess what? Your new future is going to be affected by your new future is of your past. So if I'm a good guy moving forward, then I'm going to be a good guy.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of we're covering a lot of ground, and it does sound like we're on a tangent, but no, we're getting back to like discipline.
But this is the shit that people want to hear.
Yeah,
PJ,
I've listened.
Right?
Like, yeah, I get it.
Like if you I don't want to be listening to a podcast that has canned questions. I want these people are getting into some shit. Like I noticed in parenting my kids, the biggest thing too, like that I don't believe in, and I love my wife, and we differ on this. I do not believe in gentle parenting.
No,
I don't. She can do it. That's fine. But like, I just feel like for me, that's not where I want to be. You know, I'm not going to do it because one parent can do it. I think, fine, one parent can do it, but I'm not going to be the one to do it, because the bottom line is, if two parents are gentle parenting, then these kids grow up thinking they could be in fucking entitled.
Yeah.
And I am not. God. I am not going down the road with either one out of three of my children being entitled.
Entitled, you're hitting some, man. We don't even know each other prior to this. Like the word entitlement drives me fucking crazy, because there are people out there that feel entitled. And I will tell you, I'll back what you just said. My kids will never be that. They never will, because they know what hard work is. They know what consequences are, whether they have their own or they saw their father make the mistakes. You know, I could justify to my kids that, you know, I went to prison because I didn't pay my taxes, right? Because they had the lifestyle that they led, and I made some mistakes. Going back to when I was in prison, you can get any drug, and there's more gambling in prisons. There's more gambling, alcohol, and drugs in prison than there are on the streets.
No shit.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And I could have drank in there, but I would have lost my RDAP eligibility, and I would have lost my 18 months. And so I could never say, hey guys, hey, daddy made a mistake. I got caught drinking. I'm drinking with what, 400 guys? Like what, you know what I mean? I mean, I couldn't justify doing that. So the risk and reward, that's what I also learned in that risk reward, right? Mm-hmm. So, and that the risk reward I take into everything. Like if it's, I weigh it out, play the video, watch the movies through and through. Like, especially I can equate it to my eating. Like if I'm going to eat something, what's the risk? Okay, the risk is it's going to be fat. It's going to wear down on me. It's going to be a sugar high. I'm not going to feel good about myself, et cetera, et cetera. What's the reward? Well, if the risk is more than the reward, like it's going to take away from my gains. I'm going to get fat. I'm not going to eat it. I'm not going to eat all of it. Right? I might just take it, right? And so the reward, like I try not to put anything in my body unless it's going to do something good for me. Like I literally, before I'm eating something, I go, is this going to help me be my muscles bigger? Am I going to feel leaner? Am I going to have more energy? Right? As opposed to just shoveling it in there, risk reward. And so when you start to weigh that stuff out, it's like this. I tell this to all my friends, right? Pizza store. And I was in prison when this happened. Lunch one day. And then when I say lunch, it wasn't the mess hall, because the mess hall was it's called a mess hall for a reason, a mess. Feeding 400 guys at one time. That was like, there's only 2 times that I felt like I was in prison.
Zoo, huh?
No, it was horrible. And they fed you at the same time. Breakfast was at 5:30 in the morning. Lunch was 10:30, and lunch was 4:30, and you were done for the day. And so most people in prison are broke. They don't have any money. So that if they're done, they don't have any money to go shopping in their commissary. And so I was fortunate that I had money, and I could put other people's money on everyone else's commissary, and I could shop every day as opposed to once a week. But I would just shop for the tuna fish, right? So what was I just talking about? What made me go there? About the pizza story. Yes. So one day they were having pizza. Big guy comes up to me, and it was about a month in, so I'm still relatively new. He says, "Hey, you gonna eat that pizza?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" He goes, "Well, I see you out there on the yard. You're out there working pretty hard." And he goes, I was like, "Yeah." I'm trying to be like a little tough. I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, that pizza's 650 calories." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, but I mean, I'm burning that." And he goes, "Yeah, but let me explain it to you." He goes, "That 650 calories is 45 minutes on a treadmill at an incline of 5.0 at a speed of 5.3. So incline 5.0 and a speed of 5.3. That's 45 minutes. So me being good with numbers, I went, well, shit, man, I normally have 2 pieces. That's 90 minutes of pain on a treadmill to eat 2 pieces of pizza. I get it. Why? And I'd have knocked down 4 sometimes. Yeah. Right? 180 minutes on a treadmill just because I want to have pizza? Forget that, right? Think about that, right? Yeah. And it's been a great coping skill to do that. So it's like, risk reward. So what's it going to be? And so you can apply that to so many different things.
It's interesting because like everything you're really talking about is short-term instant gratification versus long-term gratification. And I think that the problem is that we're weak as humans now, as in generally speaking, sure. Like I'm not saying you specifically, but in general is like right now society is so weak. We are taking the instant gratification over that delayed gratification. And it's so important to break that link in that chain to go off to the, to the right a little bit, so to speak, of, hey, let's delay gratification a little bit, and to your point, that's what that dude in the prison helped you with.
Yeah. Well, but I think at my age now, being 57, I'm on the back nine, right? And so
I think you're going to live till 150, dude.
Well, there's a new study.
Fucking look like it. Jesus Christ.
There's a new study out that if whoever's alive in the next 5 years, whoever lives through the next 5 years, a friend of mine, Gary Breck, you know who Gary is?
I know Gary.
So Gary's a 20-year friend of mine, probably one of the smartest guys you've ever meet, and especially when it comes to modern day medicine and the need for not having modern day medicine, like you're getting rid of all. I mean, so in the next 5 years, because of AI and the ability to predict cancer before it happens, with over 1 trillion things that you'll know about your health, that you can live to 120 to 140. Now think about how fucked up that is.
I mean, that's a long time, dude.
Well, but that changes everything. That changes your whole economic game plan, how long you can work, how much money you need, right? Because everyone's
you need a lot more.
Oh, you need, if the average life expectancy is 73, you need double that.
Shit, I better get to work.
Right.
Man.
So I do, and one of the things that people hear me say all the time, if I can amputate, chop off anything to do with the hand of time, I will do it. And as long as it's legal and it's proven and it's scientific, like, HRT, hormone replacement therapy. I take testosterone, I take human growth hormone. My body stopped producing, as all men do, at 35, human growth hormone. As you get older, testosterone gets lower. You get your blood work done. The doctor prescribes it. The only reason why you're not doing it is because you can't afford it, or you don't know about it and you can't afford it now because it's
not expensive though.
No, it's not. It's not.
I mean, I'm on hormone replacement therapy.
Yeah. Testosterone, if your insurance covers, $15 a bottle.
It's cheap.
Yeah,
it's cheap.
And so,
but, I mean, a lot of people think it's steroids, and it's not. It's not a steroidal dose at all.
It's not a steroid dose. It's not stacked with other anabolics. I'll get this. So the guy this morning I was talking about was very complimentary. He's like, "Oh my God, you look great. I'm trying to get back in shape." And he's like, "How old are you?" I said, "I'm 57." I said, "How old are you?" And he's 58, and he was embarrassed because he was out of shape. And then I'll get the asshole. Oh well, yeah, if I was on that stuff, I'm like, if you were on this stuff, first of all, if you knew of something that you could take and look like how I look without doing any work, why aren't you on it?
Yeah.
Right. Because you don't get to look like I do, and I'm saying this humbly because I put the work in.
Of course.
I put the work in the gym. I put the work in being disciplined to do the HRT, and also being disciplined from what I eat, right? So I practice the 3 triangles. But then this is a classic. I love this one. When young kids come up to me, 21, 25, and they're like, "Man, I hope I look like you when I'm your age." And I'm like, "Son, you should look like me now."
Yeah.
And they don't have any abs. They say, like, I go, "You should look like me now." So it goes back to what I was saying. I know I'm cognitive of the fact that I'm behind. I'm on the back nine, right?
Yeah.
But I live my life like I'm hungrier than ever in business. I'm hungrier than ever in absorbing and devouring life on a daily basis. Let's fucking go 24/7, 365. I wake up like ready to roll. I go to bed ready to roll. When I say go to bed ready to roll, like, Lord, thank you for the unbelievable day. Thank you for my serenity, my sobriety. Let's have a kick-ass night's sleep tonight so we can do it again tomorrow. Like, I am all in on every part of the day, with my friends, with my business, with everyone, because, I'm excited about where I am in my life. Like, I'm excited about, like, the light bulb's on. And that's another thing about what I was talking about, the being present part. If you're so immersed in what you're trying to study and trying to become and trying to figure out, you're missing it.
Yeah.
Like, you can do it both. Like, make time for that, but then live and be like, "Man, I got a fucking kick-ass wife, man.
Yeah.
I got a kick-ass husband. I love my kids. I love this part of my job. I love it." Instead of being like, "Oh, man."
Yeah, dude.
If
you think about it every day, right? There's miracles that are happening in your life every fucking day. Yep. Starting one, when you wake up, and 2, in this day and era, is when your kids come home from school safe. That's a miracle.
That is a miracle.
Dude, I'm telling you what, man. One of the scariest things I do every single day is drop my kids off at school.
Yep.
You fucking believe that shit?
No.
To your point, I don't want to go down a bad road here, but like, the amount of miracles and the amount of gratitude we can all have, even in our darkest days. I have some friends that are going through some tough times, but they don't have cancer. Their kids don't have cancer. Their wives don't have cancer. Their husbands don't have cancer. They're all stuck in the shit.
Yep.
They're all stuck in the shit. So if you could tell the audience, and I wanted to end this here, what would be the one thing you could give the audience as advice to get out of their own fucking way?
Man, it really goes back to what we talked about earlier, and it's you need to take a look in the mirror and figure out what are you doing. Like what look in the mirror, just you and the person in your mirror, and go, what are we doing? What are we doing here? And if you're in a place where you're in a bad relationship, get the fuck out of it. If you're in a situation at work that you're not happy about, that generally you're not happy about, get out of it.
Yeah.
Don't let life dictate to you. You're able to dictate life. And like when you're ready to make a major change, it's a white canvas. A white canvas. The only time I ever had a white canvas prior to my going in jail and then rehab with the two, when I had white canvases coming out of there to paint my own picture, whatever color I wanted. And you can probably relate to this, as can everyone else. There's only one time you have it, your first time that you actually realize you have it, and that's when you graduate high school.
Yeah.
And there's that 2 months before you've either committed to a college or you've committed to something that you can do anything you want. Some people go abroad, some people, do what they want, but then all of a sudden life grabs you. And if you get caught up in what you're supposed to do, go to college, get married, picket fence, blah, 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 whatever which is a whole nother story. But this life is built for you to live it. Don't let it live you. Like, don't get caught up in, and don't think that the situation that you're in is permanent.
I like that, man. Stop being reactionary and fucking respond.
100%.
Responsibility, break it down. Ability to respond.
Well, let me just one more thing. I want to end up the responsibility part, and this goes for everything. When you take ownership of the things that you're doing wrong, you know what happens? They no longer own you, and they can't fucking do anything to it. No one can hold it against you. So if you've done something wrong in your marriage, you've done something wrong at work, you've done something wrong, where did I get this advice from? When I got jammed up, this guy said to me, he goes, "Hey man, you're going away." Yeah, I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Have you taken responsibility for what you did?" And I said, "What are you talking about? Have you taken responsibility for putting you and your family in this position?" And I hadn't yet. I was like, "Fuck this, fuck them." Da, da, da. And I said, he goes, "When you do, call me." Then I was like, whatever, right?
Dude.
4 days later, it just went off. I said, "You know what? I did this. I did it. Peter Jensen, you did this." And when I did that, it was like, that was the first step towards my freedom, even though I still had to go to prison.
Yeah, of course.
But all of a sudden it was gone. So this goes for everyone out there that has a secret that's chewing at you, gnawing at you, holding you down, making you medicate, making you make bad decisions, feeling awful, not looking at that person in the mirror and going, "I dig you, I hate you." Take responsibility for it, and guess what? It doesn't own you anymore. And no one can say, "Hey, Shawn, guess what? You better do this. I'm going to tell someone you did that."
Because you
got nothing on me, motherfucker. You got nothing on me.
Nothing.
And by the way, I'm good with him. I don't need to be good with you.
I love it.
He died on the cross for me. I'm good. And that's another lesson there. If he died on the cross for us, why are you still holding on to it? Freedom, buddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Jensen, amazing conversation, amazing human being. And I know we're going to be around each other a lot.
Amen.
And we're going to be running in the same circle. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have met you. And to the audience, the moral of today's story is just be responsible. Take ownership of what you're doing and stay in your discipline. And if you can think of that whiteboard in your life right now, what would it look like? Would you go to the gym more? Would you tell your wife you love her every day? Would you tell your kids, "It's okay, I'm here"? What would it be? Write it down. That person you want to be. Now take that final picture and break down steps and process to get to be that woman or that man. So that's it for today. Again, share this episode with someone that you know, love, and trust that would just die to hear PJ's story. We thank you for sticking with us. Until next time, stay determined.
So I've tried a lot of protein. What I've always found is all the flavors, you can taste artificial flavoring in them. With raw, it's exactly that. I don't taste that. It's a clean protein source. Tastes great, and I'm not putting a lot of things in my body that aren't good for you. The biggest thing that I will say that I love about Raw Nutrition and Bum Energy is they're all natural ingredients and they're third-party tested. So what that means is an actual lab test is to make sure what's in the product is actually what is stated on the label. And then you'll see on the website of Raw Nutrition that it is signed off on. So there's no banned substances in these products. Athletes can use them safely and not get tested and popped for a failed drug test for performance enhancing, ingredients. It's completely safe, guilt-free, baby.
Shawn French, what up? This one look, I let the pain inspire me. I put my all in everything I'm doing. Up until it's done, I'm me for the entirety. I put in overtime, I be working. Just know I'ma go for mine, cause I earned it. They watching, I know it's time. I confirmed it. A whole society determined.